My perspectives are valid. I've never done a girls trip with just me and my sister yet. What really was happening was that I was simply burnt out. Hello. Welcome to part 2 of my mid-year reset of 2025. In part 1, I reset my physical space and I also shared some of my favorites that brought me joy so far into the year. But in this part, we're gonna go deeper, more introspective, and we're gonna reflect on what has worked, what hasn't worked, and what will I be looking forward to in the rest of 2025. If you're joining me with a journal, remember to hit pause at each question before we check in on the answers together. So grab a drink, light up some candles, and I'm so excited for this video. So the first question is, what has worked in 2025? I totally wouldn't expect myself saying this at the start of the year, but so far in 2025, I've really felt that work was working. I finally started to feel growth at work after 2 years of not knowing what I'm doing at all, and I started taking on projects that have bigger scopes and involves more arguing with people. I finally got a mentor at work through the Women in Amazon network, and I've even started on mentoring an intern for the summer. So I'm super grateful and super proud for my growth at work so far. What didn't work so far in 2025? Now this is an interesting one because the biggest thing that I feel like didn't work out in 2025 was the 12-week year system that was somewhat trending on the internet at the start of the year. It was basically a framework to plan goals for 3 months at a time, and you do that 4 times a year. Like many others, I also created my first 12-week year that lasted from January to March, and it involves a ton of goals. Like I was trying to train for a half marathon, post on YouTube twice a week, and I had a snowboarding pass as well as a theater project that's been going on, and my work on top of all of that. Following my 12-week year plan felt too rigid and definitely led me to a constant state of dissatisfaction where I just felt like I wasn't seeing results, I wasn't doing enough, but what really was happening was that I was simply burnt out. So now at least I know that the 12-week year doesn't really work for me. One lesson I've learned so far in 2025. One very important lesson that I learned in 2025 is to be more intuitive. As I mentioned in the last prompt, having too rigid of a goal just doesn't really work for me because it prevents me from looking forward to the great serendipity in life. After my first and only 12-week year, I completely ditched planning and I've decided to let life do its magic. From there, I stopped feeling on edge all the time because things didn't go according to my plan. I would highly recommend the book, The Surrender Experiment, as I mentioned in part 1 of the series already, because I think that was the book that led me to this very important lesson in 2025. One thing that I'm the most proud of. So I'm super proud of how much progress I made in my creative endeavors. I remember back in December, I was super burnt out from YouTube and I felt lost creatively. But looking back from now, I realized that I found a better way to balance YouTube so that it's more manageable on top of my work. And I'm also super proud of my theater projects because this year was the first time that I've worked on a solo lighting design, a solo set design, and also my second solo lighting design, and I think all of them turned out pretty great. I have no regrets. Something interesting that I noticed is that ever since I gave up on the notion of how I have to post an X amount of video in a certain time period, I actually became more creative and my video ideas became more aligned with who I am, my true self, and all the resistance, the resentment, the barrier to creating video is poof, all gone. One important feedback that I got so far into the year is that my perspectives are valid. This was a tip that I got from both my mentor and my manager at Amazon, and it was super helpful because throughout 2024 I was really struggling at work. In fact, all the feedback that I got is that I don't interact enough on other people's work, and deep down I know the reason. It's because every time I try to comment on other people's work, I have this mental block where I had to go back and cross-reference, triple check to make sure that my questions or my concerns are actually valid. And I'm super scared to post anything that's not valid. In turn, it lowers my productivity because in the time that other people make 3 comments, I can only make 1 or make nothing because I don't feel confident. Ever since I took the advice from my mentor that my perspectives are valid, and if I'm confused on something, maybe it's their job to clarify on it instead of for me to try to triple check, I started becoming so much more confident in terms of giving feedback and voicing out my opinions. And an added side effect from that is that my velocity at work started to skyrocket because I reach out for help when I need help instead of trying to fix it on my own. What are some unexpected surprise in the first half of 2025? I would say that one of the unexpected surprise that I've had in this year is actually going to Coachella. I know I bought the tickets to Coachella during pre-sale, but for some reason I never thought that I would be actually going. Like, I thought I would be selling my tickets to someone. But anyways, I'm super grateful that my friend actually pushed me through and helped me take this leap of faith financially to go to Coachella. It was super fun and I can't believe we camped in the desert for 3 days. It was my first time camping at a music festival and it was so much fun. I would definitely go again if I liked the lineup. What goals of 2025 did I already complete? In the beginning of the year, I've made a vision board and I feel like I've actually done a lot of these already. For example, I started journaling extensively this year, and this was a picture of me back in Mexico 6 years ago. I put this here because I really wanted to go back to Central America, and I did it with the Guatemala trip. I also have my favorite creators here, Chloe Shi and Best Dress, just for motivation. This corner over here is my little YouTube corner. I have my editing laptop and my microphone. As of right now, I am filming this video with my laptop and my microphone here, so it's a dream come true moment. I still have some things that I didn't accomplish yet on the board. For example, I didn't have a chance to go on stage yet. I did land an acting role, but I had to push it because I had a time conflict with a different show that I was working on. And over here, I wanted to have a crochet table at some sort of an arts fair, which I didn't have the chance to do yet, but I'm getting really close to being able to do it because I talked to one of those artists on the streets with their own stand, and she was super nice and she pointed me to all of those fairs that I could attend for free to have my little crafts table at an arts fair. But yeah, that was my vision board check-in. With that being said, we can move to the planning section of this video. The first question is, what will I let go of? In 2025, I will let go of the voice in my head that constantly chases what other people have. Instead, I will choose to listen to my internal voices more. This may sound a little bit woo-woo, but I think a practical way to approach this problem would be to meditate more and to cut back on social media usage. What would I do more of? So I've mentioned in part 1 of the video already that I don't feel like I've been doing a great job giving enough attention to my current friends as well as trying to meet new friends. Part of it is because it's kind of hard to maintain an active social life while balancing work, YouTube, and a relationship. But even if I don't go all out and meet new friends, for the rest of the year I want to at least try to catch up with some of the friends that I've been out of touch with and reach out to those who live in Seattle. We could go out for brunch or do other activities together. What am I looking forward to? So now for the rest of 2025, I'm actually really excited because I will be going on a couple trips. I have multiple camping trips planned out, as well as the tour to Boston and New York City with my sister. I've never done a girls trip with just me and my sister yet, so I'm really excited, even though we're primarily just touring different colleges for her because she'll be applying soon. And I'm also super excited with my end of the year trip with my boyfriend. I don't know where we're going yet, but it'll probably be somewhere in Asia or Europe. Anyways, I'm super excited about it. One thing that I'm no longer forcing. There's actually 2 things. So first, for the rest of 2025, I will no longer force myself to eat when I'm full just because I'm feeling FOMO. I do this a lot throughout my life, but I just have a really bad relationship with food, especially when I hang out with others when I'm not super hungry. I couldn't control myself when I see my friends eating, so a lot of the times I would be eating with them, even though I know that my body already feels full. I'll try to do that less for the rest of this year. Moreover, I will no longer be tracking goals using a rigid structure such as the 12-week year, because I think when our daily schedules are filled with to-do lists and plans, there will no longer be room for serendipity to happen, which leads me to the next question. What are my goals for the second half of 2025? Even though I've said that I've decided to ditch a rigid goal system, I still want to set up a couple goals for the rest of the year. However, I treat them more as bucket lists, or as I call it, I'm planting little dream seeds right now for the second half of 2025. They don't have to grow, but I would be more than thrilled if any one of them turned into a big tree. And with that, here are my little dream seeds. 1. Write a short play. 2. Translate and publish a book? 3. Be on stage. 4. Have my videos blow up. 5. Take and pass the GRE. And 6. Run a half marathon. And that wraps up my mid-year reflection and planning. If you also planted your little dream seeds with me, I hope that we can water them together for the rest of the year. And if you like this video, please make sure to subscribe because I'll make more videos on lifestyle, personal finance, and navigating your 20s. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!